On this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we're going to get this mad little convertible JDM Turbo K car working, modified and on the road.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. This is a Daihatsu Copen. If you think it's a weird beard car, you're right, but Marty has a weird beard and so do I. And therefore, we are down with it. Now, last time we were doing a bunch of mods to it, but then it was leaking in places it shouldn't. Yes. Never good for cars or people. No. And so we needed to wait for some parts.
Absolutely. Now, the engine cover, it's a bit of a sneaky thing. It covers up what's there.
It's a hood.
It is, exactly, it's a hood. And once you take that hood off, you see what's really underneath. And in our case, oil, dirt, grime, grot stuff, hard seal stuff that needs to be replaced. So we ordered a bunch of that stuff and it has rocked up. So in this episode, we're going to pump into it and get this thing working on the road. We're also going to clean it up and we might even chuck it on the dyno and see how much power it makes in its current form.
And Martin, it might make some nice choo-choo noises as well.
I really hope
once
so.
It's on the road.
I really
Oh,
hope
did
so.
we tell you this episode's proudly brought to you by Mighty Car Mods? That's us. How you doing? Hi. All right, let's get into it.
All right, so some bits have arrived. We have a gasket set and also some new spark plugs. I'm going to pull all this stuff off the top of the engine and fit it all up. I've also added the block-offs here because I don't have the blow-off valve, an aftermarket one with small enough bits. It can be made, but not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to let it dose its little head off. Engine covers can look nice and clean, but it's what lies beneath that can tell a different story. Everything in the Copen engine bay is covered in a film of oil and dirt. Whoa, that's pretty oily. That eventually does cause problems, and when it's down in the well where the coil plug sits, the coil pack sits, it's kind of a problem that sneaks up on you. Suddenly your spark's all breaking up and it's just running like crap, and wrecks your spark plugs or wrecks your coils. So kind of caught that, which is good. I have to have a look and see where all the oil's coming from. A rocker cover or valve cover is almost always the culprit for engine oil leaks. It's the highest point and then everything leaks down onto everything else below it. So if something looks leaky, start with this gasket as they're usually pretty easy to change. Oh, hard as a rock. You can tell if that's like so hard you can basically snap it, it's not doing anything sealing oil. Depending on your car, you may have separate seals for where the coil packs sit, and oil can splash down onto the spark plugs and cause ignition problems. This Copen could probably have used a few more oil changes in its life, but the motors work pretty hard, so it's not uncommon for them to look like this. No, don't do that, it's really bad for you. Okay, so they're really oily, and I worked out why, and I remembered from our midget journey, these things. They're set into the rocker cover. For some reason, they put these studs on it, so you can't actually change them. I think back in the day, either it would get through warranty before you needed to, or you could just buy the whole rocker cover. We can't buy the whole rocker cover here in Australia, so those parts, if they're the same as the Honda Civic ones we used in the midget, we now need to get as well. So I'm going to drill this out and try and replace them, and then I don't know if I can try and put the flappy thing back, I will, because that's kind of the breathing system. If I can't, I can't. Let's do it. Looks like they're just going to break apart. Oh no. Yes, just need one so I can measure it. I have a feeling it's going to be Honda Civic size, same as last time we Daihatsu'd. But now I've got it out, I can put some verniers on it. 40mm OD and 25 ID. I think that's Civic, but we'll have to look at some parts catalogues and do some interneting and find out. All right, so Honda saves the day once again. Apparently it's from like a Honda Legend or something. The most legendary thing about that is that it fixes our Daihatsu and the rocker covers that you can't get. So, much like midget, there we go. We have 4 spark plug tube seals. So I'm going to clean up that rocker cover, maybe give it a bit of a coat of paint, and then throw them in. And I'll try and put that baffle plate back in if I can. If I can't, it'll just not have one. While I'm here, I'm going to take the opportunity to give the rocker cover a good clean and a coat of paint. And while the paint can is out, I'm going to paint up a spare set of brake calipers, which should pop nicely against the bronze wheels and the white paint of the car. Oshikawa gasket products. This is JDM legit stuff, people, from Japan. Except that it's made in Thailand. So this is the gasket set, or the full valve reseal VRS kit they call them, because it is for sealing valves. So that's the valve stem seals there. We've got all the other little gaskety bits that we could need, the exhaust one. There's even a head gasket in there, which, fingers crossed, we never need. The one that we do need, though, is this one, which is the rocker cover gasket. So I'm going to throw that on and then throw in our Honda tube seals, which will go in there like that. They fit perfectly. And then that will go back onto the top of the Copen engine. So we've had a fail. That's the original rocker cover gasket. That's the new one. What's that one got in it? Holes. There are different jb-dets. I think there's ones that came out in like Daihatsu Moves or some other rubbish that's not a Copen. So I don't have a rocker cover gasket, so that's a massive fail. What I do have here is a Honda Civic rocker cover gasket, which actually looks like it might work. And being that I can't actually get a jb-det one easily, might be the solution. I don't know, I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. My Honda tube stem seals and also my bonus Honda rocker cover gasket are now in and glued and ready to go back into the Copen. That is looking excellent. Do you like my red rocker cover?
This has literally just arrived from Japan, Martin. How can you tell it's from Japan? Well, other than the Japanese writing, we've got the pink gaffer tape, but
bondage tape.
This may be exactly the parts that we were waiting on.
Oh, dude, that's genuine. Oh, did we get bonus bits?
Or is that?
Man, Rob's the best. He
So
always sends bonus stuff like that. Oh, he sent a Copen one.
Look at this.
Yeah, dude. What a legend.
That's like new Copen.
He's such a legend. Dude, there's an old Copen there. Look, under the hijet one. No, here.
Where?
I just thought I saw one. Did I just not see an old Copen in there somewhere?
No, you're just imagining
I'm
it,
just
mate.
tripping.
Anyway, look at this.
So
this
cool.
is all like... Oh, no, that's a new one.
Yeah, it's a new one. I think so.
Man, I wish we got magazines like this in Australia with all the cool stuff we can get.
I mean, we do. Just it's usually a Ford Ranger and a Hilux. And that's
Are you into
here.
wood trim in cars?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Not at all.
But people like it, don't they?
Copen.
Anyway, is that what we need?
Well, we've got to find out. Yep.
It's
a full reseal set, man, with head gasket and everything. Turbo gaskets. Cool.
Amazing.
That'll actually come in handy. So this is similar to the aftermarket one we've got, but the aftermarket one's wrong, and this one is right.
Well, are you sure that that's right?
Yeah, I am.
You want to lay it across and
that
make sure
looks-
it's good? Or do you want to use your Honda Civic one?
I kind of want to use my Civic one, but I think maybe that's a silly idea because we actually have the proper one here.
Right.
But that's proof that the Civic one would work. Look at it. It's kind of same. Cool.
Yeah, dude, that's the right one, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll chuck it in. Sorry, Civic, not today. That was actually amazing timing. I spoke to Rob about that when I first got the Copen. Interestingly, the super glue didn't hold.
Okay.
So you got to do something where you like coat both sides and then pressure it together and whatever. So, oh well, that was a good, worth a
Better to
shot.
find out now than later, though, right?
Exactly. And that could go in, and then that can get slapped directly on, or put a bit of grey schmoo in the corners.
Yep.
Where it changes direction, or where there's like half moons. It's always good practice, but otherwise that should seal really well. You don't need to cover them in slaz. If you've got a nice clean mating surface and this is fresh rubber, it will seal. It only stops sealing because it gets hard. It turns into plastic, and plastic don't seal. Oh, that looks mad. Honda
That
Civic
looks
thingos.
great, dude.
Cool, eh? Very happy with that. Bit of red paint, makes it look amazing. Grey slaz, let's go.
Let's put it back together. So while Marty is finishing up in the engine bay, I'm going to put the rear wheels on. We've still got to change the brakes on the front, but these can go on, and that there is looking amazing. I'm using these white line wheel nuts to go on there. These are M12 by 1.5, which is Toyota and Daihatsu You can also get 1.25, which is going to be Nissan and Subaru. But this is probably a good point if you're modifying your car to make sure you consider adjusting your value. With Shannon's, you can obviously ring up and say, hey, I've added a bunch of value to my car. I've done these modifications. They cover you for all of your legal modifications anyway at Shannon's. And then you can adjust your premium, which of course will adjust your coverage. If your car is increased in value because you've added a bunch of quality modifications to it, then you want to make sure you're covered with that, and Shannon's will do that. So make sure you give them a call, or if you don't have insurance for your car yet, just go to the Shannon's website or give Shannon's a call and have a chat with them. How are you going up there, Martin? Are you close, mate?
Yep, just put the intercooler pipes that we just modded back on and then nearly ready to start.
Excellent. I'm going to do the other wheel and then we will do the brakes on the front and kick on.
The new wheel nuts are longer and take a 17mm socket, which are perfect for these small wheels. It's also for peace of mind knowing that they haven't been on and off the car 4,000 times before. My next job is to cut up the original breather piping that sits on top of the engine. It captures and burns the oily air that's pumped around inside the engine. Down the track, I'll fit a catch can to these lines to keep the intake clean. Then the old brakes can come off. We're using the brake calipers and rotors that we got for the rusty race car, which have newer discs and better pads. While I'm at it, I'll throw in some braided brake lines. The factory ones are fine, but 20 years of braking can take their toll, so I like to change them for peace of mind. Then we can flush the entire system and bleed out any air, adding some Castrol React SRF racing fluid, which will work great on the track.
All right, Martin.
Yes. Love this bit, love this bit.
That looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It looks great, yeah. And they're just the right size wheels. It's with a K car, you've got to be a bit careful. You can't go too wide and too crazy because it just doesn't work. Plus, they end up with big, heavy wheels that slow you down. But that looks excellent. All right, is it time to drive it yet?
It's a bit embarrassing to drive currently, isn't it?
Why?
Well, because it's a Daihatsu Copen, but also look how grimy it is.
It's really grotty.
Look at that. That's all grimy. That's a different colour. That needs a touch-up. That's whatever. So I suggest that's a different colour.
Yeah.
It's 4 different kinds
It's
of
different
white.
colour here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
I reckon we give it a little buff. We give it a little love. Give it a little...
Then drop it and drive it.
And then drop it. Have a listen to it.
Look at the red brakes, dude.
And go for a drive. Actually, it's
Such
good.
a little thing, but it just looks cool, doesn't it? Very good. This is a Roby random orbital buffer. It uses a random orbital pattern when it spins, like that. So that is less chance of burning your paint. Really good for detailing jobs, DIY jobs. You have adjustable speed on here. Uses the same 18-volt batteries as all the rest of our tools. And it's perfect for exactly what we're going to do, which is like cleaning up the paint. It's not going to cut in like a rotary one that's really going to strip it off, which is probably not what most people want anyway. It's good for applying all those products. We are going to apply it and then rub it off with a microfiber towel, and we should have a nice looking paint finish when we're done.
We're going to mask off the belt moulds and any other areas that we don't want to get covered in cutting compound. Then we can apply the juice, buff it and wipe it down.
This job is a lot of work, but it's totally worth it because after a couple of hours, the Copen looks like this. The car is looking clean and shiny, and the mods look excellent too. We've added a high flow exhaust and intake and fixed some mechanical gremlins along the way. The car's still got the stock ECU, so while I don't expect miracles, it should be breathing just that little bit better. But to find out for sure, we're going to throw it on the dyno and see if it makes any more power than what it came out with 20 years ago. If you're wondering why this is the world's longest dyno run, it's because the Copen has to work really hard to overcome the inertia of the rollers to register a figure on the dyno at all. It's letting out road really slowly so that we can get an accurate figure. It takes a while, but we do get there at the end at a top speed of 155 k's an hour.
The Copen is back from the dyno and the results are in, people. It made a staggering 44 kilowatts at the front wheels. That's at the wheels, I would say. These are supposed to make 47 kilowatts at the engine stock, so I think our little mods have increased its power just a tiny little bit, but that is with a factory ECU. That's about right for some breathing mods. Now, how does that compare to other white hatchbacks that you might be thinking about, like a Volkswagen Up, for example? A stock Volkswagen Up makes 44 kilowatts, same power exactly. An Up GTI, though, 85 kilowatts. What about torque, you might ask? 156 newton meters in this case, an up GTI 200 newton meters. So I think an up GTI is going to make a fair bit more power than this little thing, but it's not all about power, as we know. Diffs come into it, handling comes into it, suspension, setup, class, racing history. Anyway, there's one more little mod that I do have for this particular loaf right here that I have ordered, that have just arrived, which are going on the car, and then we're taking it for a drive. This is one of my favourite things. Here we go. That's right, people. Yes, they're even the right colour. Garlic. Yes, it's officially been named. Why? It looks like a loaf of garlic bread. Anyway, I'm going to whack these on, then we're going to take it for a drive.
The number plate game is one of my favourites. Where we live, this is an expensive exercise, as words by themselves can cost over $400 a year in fees. By using some numbers in place of letters, you can save heaps of money and still have a fun custom plate on your ride.
We are back for a drive. It sounds great.
It handles great too. It's like stiff but not bad stiff. Oh, the dose, dude.
You know what's amazing is that little turbo noise is so loud.
Yeah.
But it's not loud compared to the intake sound, which is almost non-existent.
I reckon
here.
I reckon because it's this far from the turbo, you don't get the big long intake to make it do the big like vacuum cleaner suction noise.
Yes.
But I don't dislike it. It's there. And then when you get off the throttle, it's big. But it's also such a tiny turbo, like it's on boost the whole time.
Yes.
From like 3,000 to 8,000, you're on boost.
Sounds great. The coilovers feel really good.
Right.
You know, sometimes you put coilovers in and straight away you're just like,
whoops.
regret. It's not like that at all. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I have no coilover regret at all, which is a thing.
No, it's fantastic.
But it looks clean, coilovers are in. It's nice to know it's not leaking oil into itself constantly. That blow-off valve's gone. I like the dose. I'm a fan, like it's there and it's great. And then eventually it'll get an intercooler upgrade and a couple of little things. But man, it's a pretty solid little car.
New spark plugs, nice exhaust.
Yeah.
The volume of it's perfect.
Perfect.
Like so good.
It's there, but it doesn't ruin your experience. 60.
Dude, this is going to be so good against the up.
Yeah.
Once the up's actually working properly.
Oh yeah, I think
it'll be great.
I was worried, but I think with like good handling, coilover, sticky tyres, and that little bit of extra poke,
yes,
it might actually be a contender.
It'll be great. Everybody, thanks for watching this Mad Little Copen series. That was a whole lot of fun.
It was.
And sometimes those simple mods can just be the extra salt that your steak needs.
Yep. So satisfying. Stuff you can bolt on, stuff you can do in your own garage. Nice parts that fit.
Yes.
So you're not fighting with them.
What a treat.
And you get this as the reward, which is sounds better, goes better, handles better.
It's still a Copen.
It's easy.
No, I mean it's
still excellent.
It's no Volkswagen up, but it's all right.
Listen to that.